Saturdays, I like to talk about anything and everything relating to strength training or increasing maximal strength or relative strength relative to your body weight. Now, in my opinion, it's one of the hardest things to program for in a long period of time. Muscle mass is relatively easy to do. Body fat is again, relatively simple, just more difficult to implement in terms of dietary change over a period of time. But to keep gaining maximal strength or relative strength over a long period of time can be very slow and incremental, and so you need a lot of plateau busting ways to really generate large increases in strength. And one of my favorite subjects is plateau busting. So if you have a plateau in a bench press or squat, for example, deadlifting, even bicep strength, I have multiple ways to overcome those plateaus. And it's one of my favorite subjects to talk about. So if you're interested, subscribe, ring the bell button, and let me know in the comments below the kind of things that you'd like to look at when wanting to bust the strength plateau. Today I want to talk about eccentrics, or eccentric training, and particularly eccentric training for the squat and the Olympic back squat of that. And what I like to use are eccentric hooks. Now you can see in the picture, they're very simple. They attach to the bar and they drop off or fall off when they hit the ground, and they deload the bar. So on the concentric portion it's lighter. So you get a heavy load on the eccentric and a lighter load on the concentric. Eccentrics are a great way to overcome a strength plateau, whether it be with chinning. And again, if you'd like to see the video on how to overcome plateaus in chinning strength. So if you can't do chins, or if you can only do 1 or 2 chins, and you want to do more, or you want to get them heavier, please let me know and put some comments in below. Using eccentric hooks in this portion, what I like to do is sets of 1. So you can do 10 sets of 1, but the tempo has to be relatively slow. So anything from 5 to 10 seconds on the way down, and then as soon as it drops off, you explode and then finish and rack the bar. And I like to do that for a large number of sets. You need a lot of volume. Now, this is not really a beginner's thing. So if you are under 100 kilos or less than twice body weight, if you're quite light, then I suggest that you use just basic relative strength methods. And again, there are many ways. If you wanted me to drop an ebook or talk more about relative strength methods, then please, again, put them in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to do that for you. But if you're a quite advanced trainer, so you are a double body weight squatting, and you really can't break a plateau in squatting performances, I like to use eccentrics to break that plateau. One of the key things with plateau busting with eccentrics is that it takes a while for the eccentric strength to kind of get into your system. So by the time you're ready to compete, you need long enough period between finishing the eccentrics and then an event like a competition. So you can be too fatigued and it can mask that fitness, if you like, that strength, or you may not be able to turn the newfound strength into something useful for the squat later on. So you do this kind of quite a few months away from competing. So please bear that in mind when you talk about eccentric strength training. The other thing you might find with eccentrics is that you can become particularly more sore, as in DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. So in your back, in your hips, or in your legs, depending on where you're the weakest, but that's quite possible with eccentric training. So let's have a look at what it looks like to perform eccentric squats. And again, very simple. I like sort of 10 sets of 1 repetition. Take 8 seconds to lower the bar, 1 second to raise the bar. You rack the bar, you wait a good 3 minutes, repeat the set. And you would do that probably once every 5 to 10 days, depending on how you're programming it in your total cycle. Let's take a look. So that's the squat using the eccentrics to overcome a strength plateau. If there are any of the programming variables that you want to know more about, again, please drop a line in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next week.